we're seeing steep line movement when it comes to the total on this Yankees and Mariners game. It opened at 8. Now it's dropped a full run down to 7, and that's the way that's the way I am leaning. I'm going to go with the under between the Yankees and the Mariners, and riding a really hot trend for the Yankees at home. They have been super hot to the under this year when playing at Yankee Stadium, 23-15 to the under this year when playing at home. And also, they have their ace on the mound, Garrett Cole, who's been fantastic this year. 3 straight quality starts when it comes to the month of June. And plus, he's facing a Mariners lineup that, number one, is kind of in a tough situation, flying all the way from Seattle to New York, and also is not a great offense overall. And then you have George Kirby starting for the Mariners today, who is coming off 8 shutout innings last time around against the Yankees in a 1-0 ball game. So I'm going to hit the under between the Yankees and the Mariners, under 7, -115 over at BetMGM.
All right, I'm going to be on that as well. I got it earlier today at -155, and I found it at -165, which I have to give out for purposes of this show. Whatever, I'm sticking with it. I'm going under 8, -155 instead of under 7. So I'm also going to go with the Rangers on the money line, taking on the White Sox. I just think there's so much value here on the Rangers, and it's a short price. You got Nathan Eovaldi taking on Dylan Cease, but here's the thing. Eovaldi away from home has been brilliant this season. 6-1, an ERA of 1.98, and Dylan Cease very good at home, but the White Sox have had trouble producing runs all season long, while the Rangers really tend to feast on right-handed pitching. They cooled off a little bit, got a win last night. Let's go back to that same spot tonight. This is a lot of value on the Rangers. Texas money line -125. A better play if you don't want to lay the juice that I'm laying in the Mariners-Yankees game with the total set at 8, at least for me. Oh, I am definitely going with the Milwaukee Bucks at 6-1. I do not trust the Celtics at all. I don't know what to think about Joe Mazzulla, but the little sample size that I've seen has not been inspiring. And the Celtics have to prove to me they can get over the hump. Milwaukee, I understand, disappointed by losing to the Heat. But I think now that we sort of have had time to look back at what the Heat have done, that loss doesn't seem nearly as bad in retrospect. I think clearly now the Miami Heat were playing at a level where, okay, I don't want to say give the Bucks a pass, but it's not like they got beat by the team that barely made the NBA playoffs. This was a different squad. The Bucks have been there before. I think they have the best team. The Celtics, for whatever reason, tend to fold or soften in the playoffs, and the Suns don't have any depth. Who's going to play besides these studs? Once they get into the meat of the playoffs, just like we saw this season, they totally ran out of gas, particularly against someone like the Nuggets. Give me Milwaukee.
It has to be the Bucks, 100%, because look at that series between them and the Heat. Giannis didn't even play every game. He wasn't 100% healthy. And then in the final game, where he seemed like he was finally coming around, he put up 38 points and 20 rebounds. So when you don't have your MVP of the squad for the entire series, that's a big deal. So I would love to say that this is a buy low spot for a very good Bucks team, but it's not. The price indicates that people are saying that this is still a very good squad at 6-1. So I'll take the Bucks here. Like you said, I don't think the Suns have enough depth. And I thought it was very funny that Chris Paul found out about this trade when he was on a plane, and then he had to do the Today Show the day after, where he looked very uncomfortable when trying to talk about his new team. It was very funny. Going with the obvious choice to me, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. It feels like Jalen Hurts gets better every single year. It feels like he is on the better overall team. A great defense. They just drafted really well in the NFL draft. And I trust their leadership more in their front office to make the correct moves, because every offseason, it feels like they hit the jackpot. Like last season, they got A.J. Brown from my Titans. It feels like even if they are not, completely dominant during the regular season, they're willing to make the trades and, make the right trades to get themselves back to the pantheon of NFL teams that are tops in the league. So I'll go with the Eagles here, even though the Bengals are enticing as well. The Bills, I'm going to be off them because it feels like there's some drama going on with Stephon Diggs. So let's go Eagles here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Eagles too. I know it seems obvious, but when you look, I think it's not that I don't love the Bengals and the value. It's just that the AFC is just so hyper competitive. There's just
Hmm.
so many good teams that you can make it. And if you're talking about the playoffs, you're talking about one game. Obviously, anything can happen, but that gauntlet is so very difficult compared to the NFC. I think right now you can get the Eagles at even money just to win the division, which I understand the whole teams don't win back-to-back years in the NFC East. I know that stat, but they are far and away the best team. And when you think about what they have to go through compared to the Bills, the Bengals, you got to go with Philly. Well, I don't trust the Dodgers. It's amazing to me that everyone knows about their lineup. Everyone knows how just powerful they are if you just look at the talent on that roster. But this is a team that should have more than one World Series championship. Every year they seem to find a way to give it away for whatever reason. So I'm staying away from the Dodgers. I don't know. Should I go with the Rays? I feel like the Rays are a team that even now we don't really believe what they're doing because they don't have the star power. And we think, all right, it's the Rays, it's the Rays. But the Rays are legit. And they have the pitching, they have the hitting. There's a reason why they're off to this good start. There's a reason why they haven't faded. I know it's the favorite here. I'm going to go Tampa Bay.
It has to be Tampa Bay out of these because looking at the other two candidates, the Astros and the Dodgers, there's not even a guarantee that they're going to win their division. Right now, the Astros are multiple games back out of the AL West. The Dodgers are multiple games out of the NL West. So the pathway is going to be a lot harder for both of those teams, even if they have to go the route of the wild card. And especially when you go into those one game playoffs at the end of the season, those are difficult to win because really anything can happen in a one game series. So I'll go with the Rays here. I don't think it's a fluke. They've been really good over the past several seasons. You've got to remember, they went to the World Series not that long ago. Don't you remember like the Brett Phillips and Randy Arozarena World Series where they didn't win, but certainly made a name for themselves? So I think the Rays are here to stay. So it has to be the Rays for me.
Well, they've already tried the dual path where they had the young guys come in and with the old guys, and it didn't seem like their picks have worked out for them. But they need to find some sort of way. And I'm a big proponent of using the NBA G League. If you look at the NBA right now, there's so many G League alumni that have contributed immensely to teams and their success. Probably the Toronto Raptors is the easiest of examples. Golden State needs to leverage that so they can have a dual path so those guys don't get old. For those who are my age, sort of like the Boston Celtics of the late 80s where their guys got old, they didn't have anything behind it. But for Golden State, I would sign Draymond maybe to a 2-3 year deal with those second or third years not fully guaranteed. So I have some sort of wiggle room to get out of it, and then leverage the G League to see if I can have guys who can step up in there. Plus, I would see if I can try to get out of that Jordan Poole contract. It's 4 years, I believe, that's remaining on it. I don't know if he's going to be the player long-term that they thought he was going to be, and maybe you can find a team in a year or two willing to take on the rest of that salary. Plus, as we talk about the new CBA, that second apron acts a lot like a hard cap. The rule was put in because of teams like Golden State and the Los Angeles Clippers, and it's going to be dependent on whether Latham really wants to continue to not only pay the salary cap and the luxury tax, but also will Dunleavy Jr. be able to maneuver around now the new restrictions if you get up to that second apron and you're a repeater.